Back in action again. Shoutouts to you for watching. I do. Give me Geo and you can see something nice. Pay to see something nice? I mean, yes. Leg eater, what do you have that is nice? Let me show you then. Take a look. Do you want them? If you really, really want them, I'll trade them for more Geo. More Geo. This is a precious thing, a beautiful charm. I made it for you. If you hold it, you'll feel a lot healthier. If you're afraid of dying, you need this charm. So if you're not getting the concept, basically these are temporary charms that you can equip. One of them will increase your health. One of them, I think, increases your soul. One of them, I think, will bring you back to life if you die or attack or something. I don't know. I'm personally not into it because they eat up notch slots, and my notch slots are precious to me. I need them for violence. See why I need the notch slots for violence? It's just a constant need to murder things in the Hallow Nest. It's just the way of things. Yeah, I played a lot of games that had, cooking systems in them, and the other one, so the other one that gets brought up a lot when I say I'm making a cooking game is Cooking Mama, and, Cooking Mama's dope, but Cooking Mama isn't a cooking game. Cooking Mama is a collection of mini-games dressed up as a cooking game. And I love mini-games as much as the next person. I plan on putting mini-games in my game, but mini-games aren't a game, and, I love mobile games. I love repetitive games. I love single-serving games, I came up with an idea for a single-serving horror game that I'm probably gonna do. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but it's an idea that I started to have back when I was working on Agent Black on Walter. Because I want to do a sequel to it. Well, I want to do a lot of sequels to it, actually. When I did True Warriors forever ago, I started doing this thing mentally where I started incorporating all of my other projects into the universe, into the True-niverse that I started calling it. Because me and my friends, me and myself, I'd come up with a lot of ideas over the years for games, for stories, for whatever, but I'm a fan of rich stories. I can appreciate a short story. I can appreciate a story that, is kind of single serving, that is in and out, that has a nice start and finish, but the more rich a universe gets for me, the more, that's what I'm all about. So, when I created True Warriors, when I grew True Warriors, oh right, not there yet, but I'll get there. That power-up's cool. When I created True Warriors, I started crafting, and I checked with some of the authors, some of the creators of some of the ideas I had, and they were all on board because, we all kind of got older and didn't really have time to work on these things anymore, but it was always well, if if it ever saw the light of day, it would be nice if there was a little bit of, there was some world to it. It wasn't just a standalone one-off thing. So that was when I was well, what if it was, what if it was this part of the world? What if it was a board game within the world? What if it was an arcade game that the players, that the characters played? What if it was this? What if it was that? And I slowly but surely started to unite all my properties together. The thing that I had that was a detective story, that was a gritty crime drama. It's not really crime drama, but it was like a noir, crime thing. I had always been how is this gonna? I figured it out, So that was part of the reason the True Warriors universe is so vast, is so rich now, is because there were a lot of these things that were just one-off ideas that I finally incorporated into the True Warriors universe, and then it became a much bigger, much better concept. Because now there was a little grounding to it. Anyway, fast forward, I finally said enough. I said enough, Sam. You can't make it any bigger because you have to finish it. So I did, and I recommend you read my book because it's really, really good. True-warriors.net. It's definitely in the description of this video and every other video I've ever released. Well, most of them, anywho. But, after I finished it, well, you know, my life, some stuff has happened, but suffice it to say, I picked up Walter in 2020, and one of the goals of the Walter project, the reason I started making that, both, you know, as like a tribute to my dad and myself and a lot of the other things that, like, just crazy crap that went down during the 2020 COVID experience, you know, I wanted it to be maybe not small, but I didn't want it to be part of the True Warriors collective. You know, it was like, I'm making a new thing, you know. No, don't stop recording. I'm making a new thing. You know, like I'm coming up with new ideas, new concepts. And what I don't ever want to be doing is be like, yeah, and then Char shows up, and then Raven shows up, you know, and then Maximilian gets the mask, and then you know, it's just like, no, I'm really good on that. I don't want that to happen because I already did that for a bunch of properties, or a bunch of, you know, like, ideas I had over the years, and they worked out really good. But, you know, I was like, I'm gonna make this a nice simple thing for my dad. And I've never done space before, you know, like I've had a lot of ideas in space, but space itself, from a writing standpoint, again, I'm just going to use my own perspective here because you might feel differently. It's daunting, because the second I start writing space, I start, like, picking apart space. You know, it's like years of being a Star Trek and a Star Wars fan, you know, just having nothing but time on my hands to analyze these properties. And every little thing, you know, because they made them dense, you know, they didn't make shallow properties, they didn't make small things. There we go, this is a boss I can kill. Dude. I think I was supposed to kill you a while ago. But this is fun. There we go. Get owned, grub mother. Yeah, you know, they're all bugs, so gross bug things happen all the time. But that's fine, you know. How many farting bugs have I killed now, right? Like, it's just so many. Binding of Isaac, that game is gross too. And honestly, once you play through that game a couple times, because that's an infinite roguelike game that never ends, you get real desensitized to, like, gross things happening in surreal environments. You know, like, I still get... Hey, what's up, Bugman? Oh, Oro, you wolf, you wield your nail like a club. Is me, how much deeper do we have to go? Oh, what? Who are you? I see, this old village. What a strange dream to have led me down here. If you hadn't found me, I don't think I would have ever woken. I'm Sly. Usually I live an uneventful life up in Dirtmouth. The air in these ruins doesn't agree with me, so I'd best be getting back. If you return above, come and see me. I'm probably the friendliest face left there, and I can thank you properly for your good deed. You got it, Sly. You're exploring, then? Very brave. Plenty of courageous wanderers have been lost to the hunger of these old caverns. You have your nail, though, and I can tell just by looking that you know how to wield it. You are darn right, Sly. I am the nail master. You might say, nailed it. This is another house that I think I haven't found the person who occupies it yet. You get owned, please. Pretty please with sugar on top. Yeah, there we go. The mage's house is over here. Hello. Ooh, you surprised me. Hello. Come in, sweetling. Come in and make yourself at home. I'm Salobra, and this is my cozy little charm store. Do the townsfolk out there tell you to come and visit me? Yes, this is a lovely little village, isn't it? Warm and intimate and full of life. What were we talking about? Oh, yes, charms! I can see you've started your own collection. Very nice! I'll show you some of my own, and you can take one home with you if you like. Alright, now we start getting into the action, because you can buy notches from her, so you can equip more, but to get them, you have to buy the charm, like, you have to own the charms to unlock the ability to buy the other charms. This game is so devious. Now, quick focus is so clutch. They're all clutch. These are all very good things. So the nail, like this makes the nail a little bit longer. But it makes you feel a bit healthier. I honestly don't remember. Like, these are all glorious, though, and I need quick focus, even if, nothing else matters. But this is, I was mentioning that I'm gonna need a lot of money. This is, like you're always behind the cost on her. She's, she eventually stocks back up. There's still some other people you can buy things from, but at least it's another store to go to, and that's if you aren't piecing 2 and 2 together. That's what the pins are all about. When you buy them from Iselda in the main store, she gives you pins so that you can mark the locations of all the different weird things that are in the game that you might want to remember getting to, and because they're trying to do it with avoiding spoilers. She's just like, oh yeah, it's a weird pin. I don't know what you'd mark it for, but I'll let you know. And it's just like, oh well, it's for that lady. So suffice it to say, to go all the way back around to the original point, and I thought they were power-ups, not monsters. The development of Chef Game has been largely transformative, just like, not contingent, but like a door with an open slot. Yeah, I gotta go all the way around before I can go in here. On a lot of these games that I've played that I've had, like small tastes of the concepts of that I want, but I want to make sure my game, number one, isn't those games, like the goal is not to make a clone of somebody else's game. But to create a new gameplay experience, and, as I've mentioned in some other, like I worked in user experience. And a lot of the reasons I made Walter, I was talking about the story of Walter, that was fascinating. But a lot of the reasons I made Walter in the first place, one of the mantras I had was I wanted everybody to be able to play it. That's similar to Minecraft, except, like they just, like, sold it, and it was just like, yeah, put a crappy version on this platform. It's fine. I wanted it to be playable on every platform, but I wanted it to be good on every platform, so I made it a web game, and it's like... My thinking, of course, is like, what doesn't have the web, right? Your phone has the web, your TV has the web, your Switch has the web, like everything's on the web, so if you make it web, everybody can play it. It's a sick, like, experience for everybody, and then I was gonna do, like, some visualization options, and like some, not ASL, but I can't remember what it's called, but it's, just when you make accommodations in your game for people who have sight issues or hearing issues or things like that. I had a bunch of ideas, because again, at the original birth of Walter, if we want to go all the way back to the beginning, was the place I worked for, where I had this user experience job where all I did all day long was design people's interfaces and try and make them better, try and make them, like more aligned around what they wanted the products to do. Oh hey, what's up? Pale thing, you use these old lines? Pathetic. A real warrior carries himself to combat. He has no need for such convenience. Aren't you sitting on the bench? Leave me be, it's the arena I seek. I've already wasted far too long on these cursed roads. Alright, well you're kind of a hater, honestly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on fast charge, and as much as I like that, we're gonna go with Wayward Compass, because I am just having a gas of a time knowing where I am. I keep playing these games where I never know where I am, and I'm always lost. But I worked with somebody, and the platform we were working on, it was a similar platform that everything could use. You know, it was for signage, basically for digital signage. If you've ever been in a fast food restaurant and you've like looked at a crazy sign that's got like pictures of burgers on it and has like prices and like the menu and all that kind of stuff. Someone had to design it. Anyway, that somebody was me. When I worked at that job, and it was the kind of like we did a lot of different customers. We did a lot of different kind of products. Hello! I knew we'd meet again. How do you like my cozy little store? I've made myself pretty comfortable here, selling old trinkets to travelers like yourself. If you're planning a trip below, I have several items that may improve your chance of survival. All right, and then he is just like it's just gangster all the stuff he owns. But this is right. So you need the light before you can go in the dark area, and that's 2 Gs. That's rough. And then the rancid egg is important, but not right now yet. The gathering swarm is good. The point is, like, you need all these things. You need all these things. Anyway, these mask shards are always worth the buy because, well, there we go, right? Hashtag Metroidvania. Patamas Geo. I'm sorry about messing up your store, Sly. I'm just, really excited about my mask shard. Ow. I got my dash, which I think means I can finally go to King's Pass, but yeah, let's see if I can go. Well, I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't know if I can go over here yet. I think I have to have the Dream Saber or whatever first. Anyway, yeah, I got more places to go to the right. So I was working with a cat who was always like, "We should make a game, dude. We all like video games, like I got some ideas. I can draw. We should make a video game." And I was like, "Yeah, we should make a video game." Anyway, it was one of those things. People are always like, "Yeah, we should do this," and then they never do. So we never did. We never got around to starting it. Well, vicissitudes of fate, like I wound up with a lot of time on my hands, and I started researching what it would actually take to make a game on this weird signage platform that I supported, and it was a lot, and I started, I tried, I messed around, I tried, blah blah blah, but I was at work, and it was like, I don't know, so flip it around, long enough timeline, what happened is I, switched to an HTML environment because I had a lot of experience from Fightabase. I switched to PC, because I was, originally we were going to do it on these weird signage players, and it's just like, no, that's terrible. It would have been neat, right? Could you imagine going into it was a cool idea for a game. It was a really cool idea, but like every cool idea that didn't become a game, now it's just like, yeah, you totally should have done that. It was going to be like Zelda, just like the original Zelda, only since it was on signage players, the game was going to play itself. So, if you can imagine the original Zelda, right, where, Link goes from room to room and the thing kind of shifts from room to room as he travels around the map, that's how the game was going to go, and the code was going to decide, randomly or, based on events, that the player knew where Link went next, right? So, this is kind of an interesting, so, for instance, let's say it was cold, if it was cold, then the place Link would be in that day would be a cold area, or if it was Monday, you know what I mean? You could make it so on Monday, Link always goes to we were doing it for some pretty weird customers, but it was to an auto repair store, or he's at a school, or he's at a whatever, and the monsters that would pop up would be based on things that you could program into the player that's going on right now. The time of day would determine what kind of monsters spawn and things like that. And it would just, it was just almost like a screensaver, but it was it was just a thing that you'd be able to have going on in the background of your office, and your, your employees, your whatever. You could maybe not bet on it, but it could just be part of the day. What's our little signage hero up to today? That explosion is so big. Anyway, not meant to be. It was a lot. It was a lot of work, and and flipping fired from the job. So, que sera, sera. On my own, I started working on Walter. Started working on Agent Black, which was not supposed to be ambitious at first, and but it's like all game development. It got ambitious. It's like it's supposed to be real simple. A 3-hour tour. Very quickly ballooned. I have a problem with I have a problem. I have a real big problem, and I think if I ever finish it, if I ever go back to Walter, I think people will like it. Oh, you're back to life, huh? Can you headbang? Yeah, you're gonna headbang too. When there's just one of you and I'm not trapped, it's not so bad. But that, believe it or not, the complexity is not what killed Walter. I mean, if you've been paying attention to my life, it wasn't acid, but it just burns just as much. Anyway, I ran into a gameplay, a situation, as you often do. I couldn't figure it out. It was a design thing because the game had multiple playable characters in it. The reason the name changed was because originally, the very small version of the game was just going to be a little puzzle game starring a little guy named Agent Black. And there were going to be a lot of, sub-characters, but as time went on, it was like, well, I mean, is anybody just going to want to play this? And I came up with other ideas, and I was like, well, it wouldn't be too hard to, also integrate this, and, just 5. It takes 5 hits, and that thing explodes for 2 heads. That's crazy. It just didn't, I just can't, but I eventually cut it off. I did eventually get control of my game design brain, but by then the game had 6 playable characters, and the number of goods that were going to be in the game was through the roof. It was just a whole lot had happened to the game, and so I'm not ready for this. I had I was on playable character number 3 or 4. No. I was on playable character number 6. I was on the last playable character that I was gonna figure out because I wanted to do a demo. Oh, hey, what's happening? I think this is optional. The tiny steps of a tiny creature. You got the look of an adventure, so we've much in common. Searching for dangerous plays, aye? Well, you're on the right track. A long-necked critter warned me of a tribe deeper down. Warrior sort, so she says, and I'm itching for some serious combat. Keep sharp, my adventurous Faye. Stay alive and let's meet again. Can I make it? I can! Anyway, that was where my game design brain came out, was character number 6. Because it was a puzzle game, and, it was already a lot. The design of Walter was already a lot. Now that I'm, playing more indie games and seeing, how far people go... how far people go with their first, indie efforts, it's yeah, I was going really far for a web game, which I was fine with. It just, it was a lot. Anyway, the point is, I had to stop. Life, comes at you fast. And I had to stop. But I'm still a game developer, so... there were a myriad of projects that came up during Agent Black's development that was well, as soon as we're done with Walter, we're going to work on this thing. And as soon as we're done on this... And one of the projects that emerged was kind of a, all right, bye girl, was a horror game. I am a fan of the horror genre, of the scary game genre. I'm going to play a couple on my channel coming up here just as soon as I figure out how commentary is going to work. And they, a lot of fun. A lot of fun to to like see, like from a designer eye. I love looking at horror games because it's like I, you know, for starters, it's a skill I don't have. You know, like when you start designing games, when you start really designing games, you know, like you start to see what your skill set is, and I think probably a lot of the reasons. Oh God. Great game ideas get kind of tanked is because of that hubris of like, you know, I definitely know how to design this and you don't. Yeah, there's heads on sticks over there. I don't want to go in there yet. I would like a save point with minimal explosions. So let's go ahead and save to a point. Oh, love the quick charge. Alright, we're gonna just try again. Nope. We're gonna just... Nope. We blew it. Alright, how about take 3? Nope. Down! Down! No! Anywho, so, in typical Sam Ryder fashion, I didn't really come up with, like... Oh, that was unexpected, but I'll totally take it. I didn't really come up with a great individual horror idea. I just came up with a way to combine a bunch of horror ideas I liked. And, you know, again, like I can't, that's the problem, right? Because horror requires jump scares, it requires mood, it requires tone. It, you know, it can require a lot of things like graphically, visually that like, you know, like you probably can't do it. You gotta have good audio for a horror game. There's a whole bunch of just things that I was like, this is gonna be a real challenge for me. But I'm me, so not only was I gonna do it, but I was gonna do it, you know, the best it's ever been done before. So I came up with this, I mean, you know, we're seeing my genius on display here. This genius way of merging several horror concepts together into one game. And originally I was going to make it big, you know, I was going to make it really big and have it be like an Outlast type of thing. Where you're just like constantly running and there's constant terror and you're constantly making decisions and you're constantly like trying to decide, and I've honestly been developing Chef Game now for long enough that I'm starting to see, you know, like that, for starters, it's a bad move, you know, like that game wouldn't be fun. Not the way I'm designing it. Like, I'm pretty confident I could do it, but that's not the game I'm making right now. But also, to the point, like, I don't think that would be good. I think what I'm gonna try and do is like a roguelike thing. Well, you know, I'll just go ahead and design it, because at this point, it's like, when am I ever gonna make it? Like, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Like, I gotta get through Chef Game, I gotta decide what I'm doing about Walter, I gotta fix my life. So, the game's called Planet Misery, and basically it picks up after Walter, because, you know, Walter has a lot of different endings, I mentioned. The 6 different playable characters, each one has a different puzzle, and yeah, there's a plot, and blah, blah, blah. You know, the point is somewhere around playable character number 4 is where I started hiding stuff, you know? Started hiding stuff from the players, started making it so that the player would have to dig a little deeper if they wanted to see where I was going. And, like, one of the fun things I thought to do would be to do just a whole fake game. You know, just, like, we don't have to get too deep into it, because who cares, but, like... Did I just not go the right way? Oh, no, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't go in there, right? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. But we're at 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go back over there and find... Oh, I chickened out. I chickened out. I chickened out. It's my YouTube channel. I chickened out. I'm gonna finish telling the story, and then I'm not gonna leave the story until anyway. Well then I guess maybe I should go kill the thing. Then I could finish the story because the save point's right there. So, a whole fake game, right? And because it's fake, it was gonna be horror, right? Like it was gonna be like, you know, anybody who played it would be like, oh my god, this is totally the way the game went. And then, you know, it wasn't. And kind of the dead giveaway was gonna be, you know, that like it's not good things don't happen in this game. You know, I was gonna kill the titular character, Captain Bright, off in like literally the opening couple seconds of the game. Which, you know, like that's the bit, because Captain Bright, he's one of the, like, it was like, you know, secret ending to character number 4 in Walter was gonna be like, oh, hey, Captain Bright, let's see where your adventure goes. And then it was gonna be like, coming soon, Captain Bright and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, like it may be 10 years down the line when I did it, but, it was gonna be fun for my brain. Oh, God. So, it's still in the back of my brain, you know, I still think about when I'm gonna get back to doing the captain. Oh, yeah, I can't now, we can't do that, so I guess we are going in another room I said I wasn't ready for. Anyways, the point is, like, I realized, you know, like, oh my god, that hurts so bad. The reason I'm still telling this story is because I realized I never got back to the original point, which is, it's all part of the Chef Game universe now. Or I should say, the Chef Game is now part of the Walter universe, if only because, you know, like, the Walter universe isn't getting used right now. And there's no reason not to enrich Chef Game with a bunch of extra plot and, you know, things of that nature. So, here ends Pilgrim's Way. Hollow Nest rides before you. Proceed onward to share its glory. Now this, I can't, right? Like, this is just death. And I can't get up there, yeah. So I guess I have to go to the Mantis area, which is so far to the next save point. But it's totally fine. So now, you know, the Walter universe lives on, right? Because I thought for sure I was going to kill this thing off. Not kill it off, but I thought it was just going to go dormant. And now it is very much a part of the Chef Game universe, and the reason that's maybe not a problem, but it's because, like, well, so that means, you know, like there's going to be a Chef Game 2. And, you know, all my brain is going to do is think about, well, you know, like, how do we make the links to that? How do we make sure this is, like, tied together? So, you know, it's like game designer problems, you know, like game designer stupidity. I'm just being a coward. I need to just go in there and just, like, get it on with the killing. Come on, Mantis. No, this isn't even the right way. This is the place I can't go. The Mantises are even down lower. Of course, they're so far down on the map. So, you know, the point is, like, the Chef game, now it has all these hooks to this other stuff in it. And so that's... It's interesting, but at the same time, it creates, maybe not a conundrum, you know, it's just like, well, how much of that do I need to weigh on the original product? And I understand, you know, like, very greatly the temptation now that, like, filmmakers and game makers have to just, like, make a million links to your sequel. Yeah, it sucks in here. All the enemies in here are really strong and, like, got, you know, they can parry and stuff. Some of them swing upwards, some of them can dash. It's just like, it's just a whole lot. Which, like, you know, there's a plot reason for all this being so hostile down here and feral down here, but I'm hoping I survive to make it. Wanderers seeking death, welcome. May you find swift end upon our claws. Yeah, the Howl Nest world is super rich, but you know that's the thing, right? Is that like there's a lot of the stuff that's in this game that like you don't realize is setting up a sequel that they didn't even know they were going to get to make. You know, this game was pretty hardcore kickstarted. You know, it wouldn't have made it without fan support, without, you know, ultimately I think they even got a publisher. But, you know, the sequel's going through the same throes right now. They've been working on it forever because it was impossible to get a game, like, just done on your own. Without help, you know, especially when you're, like, a horrible perfectionist, as the people behind this must be, you know, it's just like... Yeah, all that, and you have to, like, secure funding, and you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So, like, do I keep the part that literally only exists because it would be really neat if people remembered this part when they were playing the second game? I don't know. I didn't even see them. But that's as good enough place as any for me to flippity-floppity flip you guys. Shoutouts as always for watching. My back needs a rest, but this has been great.